What's up, guys? So this is episode 5, Behind the Stage Tour Stories. My first time ever in the UK. So this is September 2023. But let's run back a bit. So earlier that year, in 2023, there's a lady from the UK who reached out to me and she said, Nigel, I really like your stuff. I like your inspirational videos. I like your skits. I like, how you uplift people and how you motivate me personally as a person. So I'm getting into events and I would like to host you in the UK. I said, oh, okay, that's great. For what exactly? And then she said, I don't know. Like, whatever idea you've got, like if you want to just do a meet and greet with your fans. And then I'm thinking, that's not a very solid value proposition for someone to just maybe leave their job for that day to just come and meet me, to just say hi and we talk and whatnot. But it's around the time I had started, getting a bit familiar with stand-up comedy. So I actually proposed to her and I said, what about I come there for a stand-up comedy show? And she said, oh, okay, great. I mean, yeah, if that's what you want to do, then that's great. So this is early around the year, I think around March, April, we're having these discussions. So she said, okay, we want to have the event in August. So let's start working on your papers and stuff like that. We agreed on the payments, signed our contracts, and then we started working on the papers. And remember, the previous year, I had actually applied to go to the UK and I had failed. I can't remember if it was 2022 or it was actually 2021 when I failed to go to the UK. My application was rejected. So I'm also kind of skeptical. Will I get the visa or not? But anyway, we get the ball rolling. We do the applications. And then all of a sudden she says to me, I don't know what's going on. The person who's doing the visas is just going quiet on me, like the agent. He's not responding to my emails, he's not responding to my phone calls. I don't know what's going on. We're now in May, June. And now it's difficult for us to start promoting the show without having the visas first. Because we're thinking, what if eventually you don't get the visas? Then we have to cancel the show. And this is the first event that a company is trying to host. So that will also have, like a bad bearing on the business she's trying to embark on. So we're like, no, let's wait until we know the visas are set. Then we can start pushing the show. April, May, June, July, nothing is going on. And she's actually telling me, no, I think it's better we just cancel, we don't go ahead with the plan. And then in the woman, mepodze kumusha kwedu atisuda kuti ndiende ku-UK yakwana angaite no first time yangu iyi kunopinda muLondon. So anyway, in August, sometime around August, she then said, I got a response from the guy. He was quiet all along. He said he submitted the stuff, this and this was happening. So now finally, we're looking forward to getting a response. And within a few days, the visa came out. Now we're all excited. This is like mid-August. But now we've got a dilemma. We want to have the event. I think the date that we had scheduled was like the next week. And in the UK, you don't just pop up and announce a show like today and you're having it next week. People have got a lot of commitments, schedules, shifts at work and stuff like that, travel arrangements that need to be made. So you can't just say next week I'm having a show. Sometimes even if you say next month, it's too late. So what do? We say, should we cancel? Now we're thinking, if I get a visa, and this is my first visa I'm ever getting, but I actually don't get to use it, I don't travel, maybe this might also have a bearing when I want to apply the next time. That might actually give me problems. Then we agreed and we said, no, let's have the event in September. And then September, most of September, from mid-September going onwards, I actually also had commitments. So it had to be early September, leaving us with the date of 9th of September. And this was like 3 weeks. And then, she ran around, found a venue in Birmingham at the Clayton Hotel, did what needed to be done. Now we're planning to travel. So I'm like, how about the flight tickets? When do I get those? She's like, I'm working on it. Remember, this is someone who had probably also thought, you know what, this is not happening anymore. This event is no longer happening anymore. And also she had used a lot of money in trying to make, these preparations. And then I kept saying, the dates are getting closer. The dates of travel are getting closer. What's happening? And then she said, you know what? This is the last amount of money I have. And I'm trying to find, cheap tickets that we can get on and, then you are able to travel. And then she said, fortunately, Zaitika, the promotion. There's a promotion I came across online. This promotion is very affordable tickets. Imagine for a round flight, Emirates, I'm going to pay something like £400. Like, what? This sounds too good to be true. She sent me a screenshot of the page and I was like, something looked fishy to me. But anyway, you know what I thought? I thought, these guys are more familiar with this travel stuff than I am. These guys are based in the UK. They probably know better than I do. And then, so it so happened that this person was posing like a travel agency. So then the person would provide bank details and then you'd send your money and then they would then send you the tickets. She sent the money. After an hour, she calls me. She says, my brother, I've been scammed. You see, that promotion I was talking about, that number I got, I sent them money and now they've gone all quiet on me. WhatsApp, I change your profile picture, the number no longer exists. And now I don't even know what to do. And this is, this is like the 6th of September. The show is scheduled for the 9th of September. At that time, I also didn't have any money on me. What do? I called a brother of mine. I called Joseph Madziri. So actually, before I called him, I just said to myself, you know what, let me take a walk. And just, cool off my mind, maybe pray about this and think properly and see what I can also do. It's very fun with Papo. Life moves pretty fast. Life changes. Because right now, if I am ever faced with such a situation where we need £1,000 or whatnot, that's not a situation that would take me 5 minutes brainstorming and thinking about and going up and down and being stressed or even praying about it. Because, of how things have just turned out over the years. Things have been positive and God has been good. But at that time, what really can we do? So as I went just behind our office to just take a walk and, think and pray, and then I thought, let me call Joseph Madziri, Zimpre's CEO. And then I called him, so I explained to him everything from the very start. So there's this lady, we are planning this show, and now I'm worried that if we cancel this, and then he just said, okay, Baba, what is it that you really want? What exactly is it that you need at this moment? And I'm like, I need flight tickets, Baba. So if I can get flight tickets, then after the show, we can then pay you back your flight fees. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Send me your passport. I sent him my passport. Then right after that phone call, he bought the tickets, and then I was scheduled to travel the next day, the 7th, in the evening, I think. The 7th of September. Or I think the 8th, I can't really remember. So yeah. So, man, I still couldn't believe. UK, guys. At that time, it was such. And I always think of those moments I tried to think of those moments and use them to appreciate how far I've come. Because at that moment, I was so thankful. I was so happy. I was so excited. I'm getting on a plane and I'm going to the UK for the first time. There are some days now when we travel, when you have a trip that's coming up, and you're like, hey, guys, I'm traveling again, a 14-hour flight. I wish I could move this trip and stuff like that. But in those moments, I always remind myself that there were times when I prayed for moments like that. So anyway, I'm excited. I boarded the plane, can't wait. And then we got to We got to, I can't remember, I think it was Austria. We were passing through Austria, if I'm not mistaken, Vienna. So we were supposed to catch a connecting flight from there, then to Heathrow. I was looking at my watch when the plane was about to land in Austria. Time dzekuconnecta for the other plane. Time idzi, boy, here time idzi. Uzvirodza kunge time idzi dzapera time idzi. Zvichiita sei? And then the moment we landed, I saw everyone panicking. Was supposed to then continue to the UK. But vanhu vakatochila so. So there was this guy, big white guy was in front of me, who was also late. So, you know, the moment that guy does it, excuse me, coming through, excuse me. Excuse me, I managed to connect. The rest of the guys vakatosara mumashure vakatozopiwa mavoucher vari pa-airport ipapo vachitanga vakapiwa mavoucher €30 or something to get food until the next flight. And if I had missed it, I was likely going to miss my show or be very late for my show. So I eventually got to the UK, welcomed at the airport, so excited. Wow! Closer, guys, queen, king. King, guys, wow, so do UK. I'm calling all my friends, I'm calling all my relatives. How are you doing, guys? I'm in the UK. I go to the hotel just to rest a bit. We rest, sleep over. Then the next night, after Godzilla, travel back to Birmingham and had the show. That show, I think of all the shows I've ever done, was one of my least attended shows. There was only a handful of people, and shout out to those people, man. I really, really deeply, extremely appreciate all of you guys for coming through. I mean, especially at the time when I had no track record of performing, no one had seen me doing stand-up anyway. These were people who just loved me, who loved the character, who loved the personality, who loved, you know, seeing me on screen, and were like, you know what, we're gonna come through and support our boy. So they came through. Especially at such short notice, because I know a lot of people only got to find out about the show when they saw videos of me in the UK. So yeah, so that's 2023, my first time ever in Birmingham. September 9th, people came for the show. I can't even remember the jokes I did, because, you know, I was still finding my feet. And when I look at that, I actually thank God, better kunakuyawana akawanda, because nekuyawana akawanda obviously and they would probably never ever give me another chance. So it's just part of the learning story, man. And I remember I saw a couple of comments and a lot of people posting, saying a lot of different things. Yeah, no. How can you charge £30 for an amateur? Stuff like that. Yo, man, I've been through a lot. But it's all part of the game, man. It's all part of the game. The criticism, it's not all criticism that's also coming from a place of hate. That's the mistake that we make sometimes as artists or as people in life. That sometimes when people say, this is not so good, or this video is not funny, you automatically assume that those people hate you, or that, no, sometimes they're just being honest. So you must take all the feedback that you can take. Listen, you stand to gain more from criticism than you could ever gain from praise. Because if people come to you and say, and then what? What do you do with that? But in as much as but still you can sit down and reflect and be like, next time paunoto chero kasada kuzviadmita iwewe kuti zvawakataura nemunhu iyoya watozvishandisa kuimprova, but watozvishandisa. So even it doesn't matter the intention. Mumwe anenge azitaura achida kukuwisira pasi, they want to discourage you, ada kutokupedza simba. Mumwe azvitaura because ari kurevesa ada kuti ugadzirisa, but still it doesn't matter. The chakangokosha is to take the feedback. If it's honest, if it's genuine, if it's true, you work on it and you improve. So really, no hard feelings, man. Shout out to everyone who said whatever they said. It was what it was. But also for me, really, the show at that particular moment was not the most important thing for me. For me, the idea that I had broken a barrier. In life, no believer in mukudambura tambo. Kuti tese, especially ano emuAfrica, tine tambo dzatinenge tichida kudambura. Kuti dzingova kumhuri kwenyu kuno kusina munhu akambodhiraivha mota. Iwe ukatenga, chero ukatenga skoro second hand, but wadambura tambo yekuti kukanzi kuna ane mota here kumba kwenyu inoti ini ndinayo. Kudambura tambo ikoko kwakakosha for munhu wese. Kukanzi zoni pamwe hakuna munhu akamboendawo kuchikoro, chero ukaenda kuchikoro chikanzi ndechekumusha, kudambura tambo ikoko kwakakosha. You find that if you buy, let's say, a car, even if it's second hand or whatnot, somehow, I don't know how it works, but it just becomes easier for you to get another car and another car and another car. And then what I think it also helps in shaping your identity, because when you look at yourself as a car owner, you look at yourself as somebody who is able to afford a car. So ausisina mentality kuti handideserve ichi kana kuti handikwana ichi, because utori nacho, it may not be exactly the standard. Like, so for me, what was important was the fact that I did a show in the UK. Ndo chanchiri chekutanga chanchikakosha ichocho, because imagine kuti if we were to count the number of shows, we can't say, don't count that one. Pakatonzi verengai mashow kana pakanzi verengai vanhu vese vakambopefuma ku-UK. You can't leave me out and say, no, show kwangu na vanhu 10. So you cannot leave me out. So, and then we grow through what we go through. That's my principle. That's the only way to grow. You don't grow by thinking about things. You don't grow by planning. You grow by execution and doing things. So in as much as it wasn't even a big show, but I was shown so much love, man. Vanhu vakafara, tikatora my pictures. My boy King Kandor actually came through. He was there just to support. He was in the crowd. Uncle Garoj, right? He came through just to support and see what's going on. And I remember, I think on that day, he was actually telling me that on the previous night, he had traveled from like 3 hours away for he was doing a wedding or something like that. He was extremely tired, but still he came through. Shout out to Chichi Sabeta. She also came through just to show support. So for me, it was a start, and it gave me that boost. It gave me that confidence. I can actually do this. I can put people together in one room and try to tell jokes and do my best and create a good atmosphere. So from there, that's when I actually went. When I came back, I actually did a show in Cape Town now. Each one's back from the UK. The Slick Faster back from the UK. So that really gave me the motivation I needed, the belief, the self-belief I needed, the push I required to get to the next level. So that's the story about me going to the UK for the first time ever. It was in Birmingham, which also makes the 4th of September 2026 a very special time, because I'm going to be performing in Birmingham again, where in the city where I performed for the first time ever in the UK. So for all of you in the city of Bram, all around in Jimbo Ziripa Birmingham, it's a bit, central. When I was doing my research and study on the history of Birmingham, I actually discovered that you can get to 90% of the places in Birmingham within to places in the UK from Birmingham within 4 hours or less. 90% of the places in the UK, because of how it's positioned. So I genuinely don't want to hear any excuses of people saying they cannot attend this show. So I'm going to see you on tour. Kombre Reinash.